Hi, welcome to Ken's Games Collection, and today I want to rank all of my Tomb Raider games. So the Tomb Raider series has been one of my favorite franchises over the last 25 years. It's 2021 and we're at the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider. It's hard to believe that it's been able to go on this long, and we have to go back to where it all began with the original Tomb Raider game, which I still have in the collection. Look, when this game came out, it was an incredible experience for me. I had never played anything like it before, and just the whole character of Lara Croft and these vast wilderness environments, and that's what it was. It was really vast. It was all. It wasn't really heavily populated with too many enemies. You would come across a bear, wolves at times, some bats. But there was a lot of puzzle solving in this game, and that's what I really liked about this game, that I was so immersed in the world of Tomb Raider. So look, I spoke about this game on so many other videos, but for me, I ranked this one out of 10. I have to give it a 9. It was an incredible game. Now, it's really interesting. 2 and 3 I don't have in the collection anymore. And I guess I was such a massive fan of the first game. I just couldn't get used to the fact that the other Tomb Raider games would go in a totally different direction. They were great games. You would see they get more complex with the puzzle solving. Lara in the second game would have a ponytail. You can see the progression in the games with the developers of core design, what they were able to do with the character, with the modeling. But I didn't have those games anymore, and they never really did interest me until the next game after 3 came out. And I've always been wanting to see Lara Croft in a full-on game based in Egypt, and we got that with Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation. This was for me a dream come true because I'm such, I guess you're going to say, obsessed with Egypt. I've been there back in 2003. It was an incredible experience. But to play an entire Tomb Raider game in Egypt was, like I said, a dream come true, and it lived up to my expectations. It starts off with like a 16-year-old Lara in, I think it was Cambodia, and then we go to the present day, and Lara's going through so many amazing environments. And it was really interesting about this game at the end. Lara is presumed dead. Now, this was done because core design was getting sick of making a Tomb Raider game every year, and they had done that from the first Tomb Raider game up until this one. And this was their attempt at trying to kill off Lara Croft. Hard to believe, but they wanted to move on to other things. They thought they had exhausted the series as far as they could go. So pretty much they killed off Lara Croft, but Eidos Interactive had other ideas. They weren't going to let one of their main franchises and a cash cow just to go like that. They were going to continue the series on, and they pretty much told core design that you have to come up with another game, and that was Tomb Raider Chronicles. So with this game, did I give a rating for this one? I give this 9 out of 10. I just loved it. So I'm getting too involved in what I'm talking about with that game, but 9 out of 10, fantastic game. Okay, let's go on to Chronicles. Now, yeah, this was made by Core Design. It was kind of like at the wake of Lara Croft. She's still presumed dead. And to me, it just didn't feel like a complete Tomb Raider game. They had taken these ideas of different levels and making these little stories which are told at the wake of Lara Croft. Those characters would talk about Lara, and you would go to these, I guess, flashbacks of these little mini adventures that Lara goes on. I didn't really enjoy this game, and for me, I give this a 6 out of 10. It just didn't live up to the hype. After Last Revelation, I was pretty happy. Now, we would have to wait another 3 years. This is really interesting because every year we got a new Lara Croft game, Tomb Raider game. We had to wait 3 years for the next Tomb Raider game. And I got to say, I was impatiently waiting for this next game. And I remember reading in a magazine that it was shown at a trade show. I think it was behind closed doors to the media. Um, the feedback was not good on this next Tomb Raider game. It got hammered with a lot of negative feedback. So that would, I think, make core design actually spend maybe another 9 months working on this game before it would finally get released. And it is, of course, Angel of Darkness. I've talked about this game before in other videos. Now, let's talk about something different. It's hard to believe that this was supposed to be part of a trilogy of games. If this didn't bomb like it did, it would have been interesting to see where they were going to go with this trilogy, because I get what core design was trying to do. They were trying to take it in a different direction, trying to reinvent Lara Croft. When I look at this game, when I played this game, it kind of reminded me of Resident Evil. And just playing this game, because for me, it was in my DNA. When I pick up a controller, I can play a Tomb Raider game straight off the bat. With this one, they changed the controls completely, and I had to relearn a lot of stuff. Just the simplest tasks I had to relearn, and it was getting me so frustrated. And also there were times when the game would crash, which this is pre the era where you could download patches. Okay, this was just before we got into that next stage of gaming. It would have been great if they could have patched this game, I think, but it just didn't live up to the hype. It went somewhere different, and they were going to introduce, I think, three quarters of the way through this game, another character. I think it was Curtis Trent, which would have been interesting. Look, I played up until a certain point where the game crashed on me 3 times, and I put it down and never went back to it. So I never played as Curtis Trent, which would have been interesting if I did. But I don't think I would have liked it, because it's just, to me, it was a broken mess of a game. And some people say it's one of their favorite games in the series, which is fair enough. But for me, 2 out of 10. This game almost killed off the Tomb Raider franchise. Now we would have to wait another 3 years. And after Angel of Darkness, we honestly thought that maybe Tomb Raider was done. It was not going to come back. We had to wait 3 years for Tomb Raider Legends, which surprised me. We knew that Toby Gard, the creator of Lara Croft, was a creative consultant on this game. So in a way, that gave me some hope that maybe, just maybe, they can resurrect this series. And it sure did. It's a very short game compared to what I'm used to, with, especially with the first and Tomb Raider Last Revelations. Those games just were epic, vast games. But this one's more smaller levels. It's kind of has an arcade feel to it, but the controls are there. Lara is looking great. The environments is looking great as well, and the story was pretty good for what it's worth. So I was pretty happy with this, and I give it 8 out of 10, because it showed that with Crystal Dynamics, who made this, they were kind of on the right track to redeeming the series. Then the following year, we would get, I think it was the 10th anniversary of Tomb Raider, and it always in my back of my mind that it would be so great if with that gen of consoles, with the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, if they could go back and revisit the first game and give it a complete makeover with that current gen graphics. And when they announced they were doing the Tomb Raider anniversary, I was like, yeah, I was doing literally fist pumps, because I was so happy, because it's kind of like they made my dreams come true, especially with Last Revelation set in Egypt. And here we are getting a 10th anniversary, a remake of the original game. And I had in my mind that I wanted it to be exactly like the original Tomb Raider. And maybe that's where I've gone wrong with this game, because they took it in a different direction. It's not a complete remake of the very first one. I guess they're trying to put stuff in that maybe they had ideas for. I think Toby Gard again was involved in this one. And Anniversary came out. I was disappointed because of those reasons I just gave, because I wanted a complete remake from the first game, not taking it off in a different direction, doing this and doing that. I wanted a remake of the first one, basically identical to what the original Tomb Raider was, and I never got it. And I played it, I finished it, but I could never get into it. It was just like, this isn't the original Tomb Raider that I knew and loved. And a lot of people out there do like it. I don't like it. And there's other videos I've done on Tomb Raider games, and people have slammed me because they say it's one of the best games. Look, it may be one of the best games for you, but for me, I am very set in my ways. 2 out of 10. I don't like it. I really hate it that much. So the following year, after anniversary, I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. We're going down the path of Angel of Darkness. They gave us Legend, which was great. They gave us Anniversary, which to me is shitty. And here comes Underworld. Now, Underworld really surprised me because it was, to me, the Tomb Raider of old. It had so many great locations, from Thailand to Mexico, Antarctica. So you start out this game going down to underwater site that you have to explore, which I really loved. And when you go to the jungles of Thailand, that looks really great. There's a lot of puzzle solving in this one, which I really enjoyed. And for me, it was, once again, they're on the right track, Crystal Dynamics. I thought this was a fantastic game. I think there was some download content for it as well, but I just love the puzzle solving in this game, and just the environments was really cool. So I give Underworld a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it so much I replayed that one a few times. Now, with the reboot of the first Tomb Raider game, well, not the reboot, but when we got news that they're going to reboot the whole series of Tomb Raider with a new game, we were so excited. I was. Then the news broke that it was going to go on Xbox One exclusive. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm guessing that Microsoft paid a lot of cash to get that exclusive, and I didn't know it was going to be a timed exclusive, because I was thinking, oh my god, this is really weird, because when you think Tomb Raider, you think PlayStation, which is where it all started, and where they actually Sony had a 5-game deal, I think it was, with the core design to just do for the PlayStation 2. That's why the PlayStation, I guess you could say, you never saw it in the Sega Saturn, which couldn't handle it anyway. But so there was that announcement of the reboot of the series, but to keep us PlayStation 4 gamers happy, we got Lara Croft and the Temple of Horus, which is a 4-player multiplayer game. It got released in Europe and Australia with a physical release. Now, North America didn't get a physical release of this game, which I don't know why, because it's so great. It is kind of like in the style of a Diablo game, which you have that top view down. You get to play as Lara Croft, and there's 3 other characters you can play, and it's all set in Egypt, and it takes a different look at the series altogether. And it was like, really, at first I thought it was really odd, but when I started playing it, it made sense to me to do something a little bit different and offer gamers something very much in the style of Diablo. And there's still a lot of people out there that does not know that this game exists. It is such a great game. I give it 8 out of 10. It was a fantastic game. Now we'll move on to the reboot of the Tomb Raider series. I have to say, I was waiting and waiting and waiting for this to come on the PlayStation 4. When it was announced it was a time release, we definitely were going to get it on the PlayStation 4. It was kind of like, okay, I can hang off waiting, because at that stage I didn't have an Xbox One. So when we get the release of this, it's the definitive edition, which has a lot of the download content that's included, where you had to buy it on the Xbox. So it's kind of like, okay, that's really cool. But the reboot of the series, we knew it was going to be a trilogy. I thought, man, Crystal Dynamics has nailed it. There was so much suspense in this game, and set on this island where all these wrecks are around it. It was so cool. I really enjoyed this one. I give it 9 out of 10 because it was such a fantastic game, and it showed that they could actually take this series and reboot it, and that's her first adventure. Then after that, we get on to the 20th anniversary. Unreal. The 20th anniversary of Tomb Raider with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, I thought it looks amazing. Okay, just start off with that. It looks beautiful. The story is great. I just found that there was so much violence in this game. There's violence in this one, but I just felt that this one was going somewhere completely different. And I do like I do look at this as being like, yeah, Crystal Dynamics is more or less going down the same path as Uncharted, which isn't a bad thing because Uncharted has worked phenomenal. But I just found they took the tombs out of Tomb Raider with this game, and I could never really get into it. While it does look visually beautiful, there's some great set pieces into it. It lacks something, and I don't know what that is. I give it a 7 out of 10. Um, I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird for me. And that takes us up to the last release in the Tomb Raider series. We are at the 25th anniversary, so I'm really disappointed we're not getting nothing for the 25th anniversary. No new game, just a mobile phone game, which to me is just pathetic. To be honest, it's pathetic. It really is. But with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, when I started playing this, and it's only been recently that I decided to unwrap it and give it a go, and oh my god, this was incredible because they put the tombs, they put the puzzle solving back in Tomb Raider. It just restored my faith that yes, you can do the action stuff, but you can also have those puzzles, which to me I associate with Tomb Raider, going right back to 1996 when I first played the original Tomb Raider. And for me, it was like, yes, this is the step in the right direction that I would love to see the series go in the future. And I don't know if there's another trilogy they can do or be another standalone game or what sort of story they can tell. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a fantastic game, and I give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and it was made by Eidos Montreal. So yeah, Crystal Dynamics really wasn't involved in this game, so it just shows a different team working on it. And I'm guessing that they wanted to bring those puzzles back in. So that is it. That's all the games I have in the Tomb Raider series. There's stuff on the Game Boy Advance, all that sort of stuff, but I never could get into those games. I always wanted the main series. And there is another game similar to this one, which was only a digital release, but I don't have it physically, so I won't rank that one. So that's my Tomb Raider collection. Leave a comment down below. What do you agree? I know I'm gonna get some crap for giving this such a low score, but hey, it's just the way it is. That's the way I see it. That's the way I call it. So until next time, guys, take care. Bye.